Hi, this is David Feldman and welcome back to another Building Great Marriages video where I help you build a great marriage. Today is a special treat as it's my 29th anniversary and I'm going to share with you 3 tips that have helped me make it so far in a loving and wonderful relationship. And if I can do it, so can you. Stay tuned. So I met my beautiful wife in the summer of 1985. I had just finished high school and I showed up on my college campus in Grinnell, Iowa, of all places. Lo and behold, as I was taking my bags out of the car, my father elbowed me from our station wagon and he pointed this way. And there was an incredibly beautiful woman walking down the stairs of our dormitory. And my father looked at me and said, "She's the one for you." And ever since that moment, I have been heartstruck with affection and love for my wife. I was a mere 17-year-old. We didn't get married till 7 years later. I was 24. And that's a whole other story of how we actually decided that we were going to come together and live the rest of our lives together. But thank God, in the summer of 1992, we tied the knot. And we've been together, married, for the last 29 years. So, I tweeted about this today, and a lot of people said, "How did you do it? Give me some secrets. What's the key to establishing and having a 29-year marriage?" So I thought about it, and I wanted to share with you 3 major principles that enabled me to have a wonderful marriage over the last 29 going on 30 years. The first one is to learn to weather the storms, okay? I cannot speak enough about this concept. During the course of 29 years, people change, circumstances change, you're going to change, and she's going to change, right? It's going to go up, and it's going to go down. Then it's going to go back up, and then it's going to go down. You're going to think something's important on day 1, and then another thing's going to be important on day 2. You have children, then the children leave the home. There are so many challenges that come your way over a 29-year period, let's just say 30-year period, that learning how to weather the storms, don't take every argument and every disagreement and every conflict that arises as a statement about your marriage. It's not. It's just really a statement about what's going on between you two at that moment in time. Just because you're upset or depressed or angry or frustrated or disappointed doesn't make this into something that is all about your marriage. It just may mean that your relationship is going through something right now that needs to be ironed out, that needs to be worked out. See, Judaism teaches us that we're really 2 halves of the same soul. But what's the problem? The problem is that even though we're the same soul, we've been put into 2 different bodies. And not just 2 different bodies, 1 male and 1 female. And God has a little joke that he plays on us, and he says, okay, you 2 different people from different backgrounds, different cultural upbringings, different family upbringings, different genders, you 2 have to come together as one. So expect that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs over the course of your relationship. And don't let those ups and downs mean anything regarding whether or not you 2 are meant for each other or whether your marriage is on solid footing. You can do it, you can make it. That's number 1. Number 2, learn to infatuate yourself with your partner. Common wisdom says that you should be infatuated with your partner, and I say no. Become infatuated with your partner instead, which means as follows. When we are looking to be infatuated with our partner, that means our partner has to do something in order for us to experience infatuation. I don't think this is a great approach. Instead, learn to become infatuated with your partner. Learn to see the same things that you saw with your partner when she was a young, beautiful woman who you met for the first time when you were romantically completely head over heels, when she could do no wrong, when everything about your relationship was going great. That person is still there. It's just that we've allowed the trials and tribulations of our marriage to wear down our enthusiasm and our excitement for our partner. So we have to become infatuated with our partner. We have to always look at her with fresh eyes and see that beautiful person that we initially became so enamored with. When we learn to do this and when we focus on this, focusing on gratitude, appreciation, focusing on all the things that she's doing right, focusing on that innate pure nature that we fell in love with, that spark of something special that really got under our skin in the most beautiful way and just turned us on physically and emotionally and spiritually. When we focus on that, when we work on that, we will perpetually be infatuated, becoming infatuated with our partner for every day. And this is something that you can do. Don't let time go by where you're just waiting for your partner to show up in such a way that turns you on or gets you excited. I'm not just talking physically. I'm talking about emotionally or spiritually. No, they're already doing things right now that are worthwhile of your excitement and infatuation. Find those things. Become infatuated with your partner every day. And that's something you can definitely do because you did that once, so you can do it again. The third thing, which is really important, is to learn how to accept your partner for who they are. This is probably the most important marriage tip I can give you. See, over time, the differences between you and her are only going to become more and more pronounced. In my mind, sometimes I look at my wife and I say, you do not remind me at all, in many ways, of that person who I fell in love with, personality-wise. I'm not just talking about her beauty and the spark and the joy. That is the same. But the more I get to know her, the more I realize she's introverted, I'm extroverted. She's methodical, I'm spontaneous. She's much more organized, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. She likes to do things, very thoughtfully. I like to do things on a whim. This extends into all areas of our life, whether it's child raising or whether it's spending or whether it's planning for a vacation. Our differences become more and more pronounced over time. So how do we maintain that unity that we need? And the answer to that is through acceptance. We need to learn to accept and even appreciate those things which we realize are totally different between each other. There's a great story I like to tell. I once had a client who was kind of at odds, especially in today's day and age, at odds with her spouse over politics. And they would fight about politics, and they even went so far as to separate over politics. So I told her this great story that my mother-in-law, so my wife's mother, and my wife's father had a wonderful marriage for 50 plus years. And one of the things that we always found so funny was that he was a staunch Republican and she was a staunch Democrat. He was much more right-leaning and she was much more left-leaning. And in today's day and age, that could actually come between people. But they handled it very differently. What they used to do is they used to walk hand in hand every 4 years to the voting booth in their area, and they would walk into the voting area and they would announce that we're both here to cancel out each other's votes. And then what they were basically saying is that we can have a marriage, we can build a home, we can build a family, and we love each other even though we disagree on so many things, even though our natures are so different. And that's because they learn to accept each other for who they are. And again, it can even go further than that, because once we understand our differences and we're okay with those differences, we can actually pick out how these differences are actually complementary, and her strengths are where you're weak and your strengths are where she's weak. So that's the third piece of advice, learning to accept each other. So I'm hoping that with these 3 pieces of wisdom that I've gathered over the last 29 years, almost 30 years, that will help you too keep your marriage, build a great marriage, and help you fall in love with your spouse all over again every day. Thank you for joining, and if you like this content, if you want to have a great marriage, please like and subscribe below. You can find me on Twitter at David Feldman or at my website, www.davidfeldman.com. Don't forget to share this video, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless.